The Harris family's nightmare has just hit its darkest chapter yet. Forget the flashy chains, forget the Instagram lives. This time it's about survival. King Harris, son of rap legend T.I. and Tiny, is fighting for his life in intensive care after a brutal prison attack that feels more like a gangland movie than real life. The details leaking out are so shocking, so violent, that the entire hip-hop world is frozen in disbelief. And trust me, what's coming next will leave you speechless. According to insiders, chaos erupted inside the Georgia prison walls when King was attacked so violently that guards had to pull him out of the melee just to save him. His face was swollen, his body nearly motionless, while the rest of the prison boiled over into an all-out riot that left several inmates battered and bloodied. But here's the part that makes this even darker. This wasn't just some random scuffle. Word inside says it was a planned ambush, weeks in the making. Inmates allegedly targeted King, seeing him as a symbol of wealth and privilege in a place where none of that matters. To them, it wasn't about a petty beef, it was about sending a brutal message. Behind bars, money and fame can't protect you. Respect is earned through loyalty, toughness, and survival. One former inmate put it plainly, weakness makes you prey. And right now, King is finding out that lesson in the harshest way possible. When news of the attack spread, the internet went into a frenzy. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform lit up. Some people were genuinely shocked, sending prayers and support. Others mocked him, saying, King finally met the real world and it broke him. The Harris family, who are reportedly in full panic mode, are under even more strain as a result of that internet division. According to reports, T hasn't slept since the incident and has called legislators, lawyers, and everybody else who has any influence within the Georgia Department of Corrections. According to an Atlanta source, T is even prepared to make promises, cut checks, or sign NDAs in order to save King's life before another strike occurs. Tiny is reportedly imprisoned in her own war room in the meantime, running point with attorneys, publicists, and media pals. But even their renownedly strong unity is breaking under the strain. They argue explosively behind closed doors, according to insiders. They are each accusing the other of causing their son to end up in this nightmare. Without family hustle, I couldn't have accomplished it. There is some adversity associated with that. You know, that carries with it a certain amount of hardship. People enter your bed. Yes, the family's close friends are unsure if they are battling for King's survival or only against one another. In any case, the foundation of their marriage begins to tremble and their son's life is in jeopardy. The unstoppable Harris dynasty appears to be disintegrating in the face of a catastrophe. The stakes aren't family pride or TV ratings this time. Life and death are at stake. The rumors that are circulating are what are making everything even more hazy. According to some rumors, King was captured in the middle of a botched illegal transaction, that he attempted to finesse the incorrect crew or refused to play ball. Loyalty is valuable in jail, and breaking a pledge can quickly result in your marking. Investigation-related insiders even asserted that 3 individuals jumped King after luring him to a particular area of the prison. In the meantime, the security cameras inexplicably stopped working. There was no malfunction, according to the Department of Corrections. However, that justification isn't being accepted. In the words of one of T.I.'s former road managers, it's Georgia. Cameras break when they need to break. And now, as King's illness continues to deteriorate, the family's conflicts are more intense than ever. Fans still remember how awful things appeared months ago, like the notorious Falcons game, where, following yet another furious debate regarding King's background, T placed him in a headlock live on Instagram. I received my degree. The only positive thing they shared about me going viral was that, in all honesty, I don't like the media. I'm not sure why, but I am not. People believe that King's lowest point was when T yelled, "You are embarrassing yourself and your family," as security rushed in, and Tiny tried calming things down. However, this prison ambush demonstrates how much worse things may get. Now that the Harris family's internal turmoil was leaking online, and King was battling for his life in a hospital bed, that Falcons game was merely a prelude to a much more unpleasant chapter. Prison insiders claim that King was singled out for more than simply his identity, which exacerbates the situation. He was constantly made fun of for his parents' notorious issues, particularly the ongoing trafficking accusations between T and Tiny. Although the family denied everything, the rumors persisted, and rumors like that turn into ammunition in prison. According to reports, King fueled things himself by trying to criticize rivals and promote himself as Atlanta's next big thing, while even flexing for social media while inside. You understand what I mean when I say that you may sort of woo-saw yourself outside of the prevailing opinion. Older prisoners, however, weren't impressed. "We don't care who your daddy is," one former prisoner bluntly stated to us. "The rule inside is that you get handled if you don't pay what you owe or if you run your mouth." King is now paying the price in blood. In the meantime, T is using every last bit of string he has. Sources claim that in an effort to shift the responsibility away from King and toward a dishonest system, he has even threatened to publicly reveal prison conditions while covertly supplying material to favorable media outlets. It is a classic example of a celebrity crisis play. There is one unanswered question though, as the clock is running out and the threats are still present. Can we still save him? Furthermore, is this precisely what occurs when you instill a sense of invulnerability in someone, only to have reality strike back more forcefully than anyone could have predicted? The storyline surrounding King Harris's ambush is becoming more and more hazy by the hour as the rumors continue to circulate. This was more than a simple beating. In the jail hallways, there's a rumor that King may have made a mistake that is irreparable. There was a rumored contraband trade, according to several insiders, and King either attempted to back out or made a cunning move that infuriated powerful people beyond those walls. That kind of betrayal is like writing your own death certificate in a place where survival is the only rule. They uttered one terrifying detail. "I genuinely respect his devotion to the audience because, I sort of explained to him what was wrong with it, making errors. My dad isn't the type to come up and get on my ass at any time. You can't get away with what I did. Man, I am aware of it. Oh, fuck. I didn't see that one coming, that's for sure." Really? No, I didn't. His identity was allegedly linked to a breach commitment in a contraband ledger. Broken pledges are also repaid in blood in prison. However, when people are discussing more than just illegal activity, the rabbit hole gets deeper. They claim that within that system, King's last name is a curse. Attention has always been drawn to the Harris family, but this time it's poisonous. King apparently was unable to shake the shadow of the long-standing trafficking accusations against T and Tiny. He was made fun of by other prisoners, who called him wimpy and claimed that he was now a target of the same controversies that plagued his parents. Resentment grew like dynamite, waiting for a spark. When you combine that with his reputation for being loud, showy, and behaving like the star of the yard, it wasn't even personal for some of the elder inmates. It served as a metaphor. Off the record, one correctional officer even acknowledged that well-known prisoners like King are used as pawns in a power battle. A superstar is not simply another prisoner when he enters. Gangs use him as a negotiating chip, a message, and a means of asserting their power. According to a former Georgia prisoner, you take down the famous one, you send a message to everybody else, and that's just what may have occurred in this case. Meanwhile, this storm is causing T and Tiny's relationship to falter. According to insiders, their disputes are heated behind closed doors, with T maintaining that connections and discipline are the only means of escape, while Tiny blames the system and outside forces. T is stepping up its use of force, politics, and high-powered phone calls, while Tiny seeks a more gentle approach, portraying their kid as a victim of a flawed legal system. Their marriage isn't the only thing being strained by this separation, it's scrutinizing the Harris brand as a whole. Family friends are divided on whether going public helps or damages the couple, and one person close to them stated bluntly, "This is worse than the lawsuits, worse than the reality TV fallout, worse than anything they've ever faced." And the more they scramble, the messier it gets. Harris can't afford to appear weak, according to some, while others caution that dragging the jail system through the mud will just make King a bigger target. A fire that is already raging on social media is fueled by every leak, anonymous tip, and prison guard talk. A picture that may be even more repulsive than the family could have ever envisioned is being painted by fans who are drawing connections between past scandals, revived lawsuits, and now this ambush. Remember, this is not King's first run-in with scandal. His social media activities, including criticizing rivals, showing off his wealth, and positioning himself as Atlanta's next wildcard, are still remembered by many. That was entertainment on the outside. However, that enthusiasm made him a target from the moment he entered prison. When everyone realized he had grown up in luxury, Surrounded by cameras and security, other prisoners reportedly laughed behind his back, accusing him of behaving like a mobster. He posed no threat to them. In the end, he became a liability and a spectacle. In prison, psychological warfare is equally as lethal as physical assault. Every whispered warning, every gaze, and every rumor turns becomes the prelude to another ambush. King became the ideal target for animosity because of his well-known affluent upbringing. Most prisoners can't imagine having access to private schools, reality TV, bodyguards, and attorneys. He stands out like a bright bullseye because of those details. As a result, some prisoners detested him. Some viewed him as a pawn in their own chess game, while others felt insulted by his attempt to be tough. King's celebrity was turned against him in any case. His notoriety served as both his weapon and his demise. In the outside world, the upheaval is beginning to shake the Harris family's dominion. The other children must navigate a maze of tangled paternity theories and resurfaced arguments that were meant to be forgotten years ago as they are being pulled into the allegations. There is no longer a distinction between private heartache and public scandal. The family is no longer in control of the story, and everything is pouring into the open. Their brand is currently being destroyed by the same publicity that once helped to establish it. Additionally, the emotional toll is brutal. This has nothing to do with a canceled TV program, a humiliating viral video, or even tumultuous legal proceedings. This concerns the legacy of the family and the life of their son. Every headline exacerbates the situation. The risk increases with each rumor of treachery, and every public declaration seems like a risky venture that might go wrong. Attention has always been the Harris family's lifeblood, but at the moment, it feels like poison trickling on an open wound. The harsh reality is that the legal system is not swayed by fame. It doesn't care how many TV seasons your family starred in or how many CDs your dad sold. Being famous doesn't make you untouchable while you're incarcerated. It exposes you more. It turns you into a negotiation chip, a spectacle, and a potential news story. Additionally, it is making King Harris's last name a liability that is endangering his life. There were multiple attacks during the jail ambush. It could be the first chapter of a much darker story than anyone knows, because people are now questioning if King Harris is just paying the price of his conceit, or if there is a larger conspiracy at work, a deal gone wrong, adversaries working behind the scenes, and a system that has already let him down before he has had a chance to mature. And the question that haunts everyone as the Harris family struggles to pull threads and preserve their heritage is straightforward but lethal. Is King just another victim of the collision between reality and fame? Or might he be the first in a series of events that could reveal secrets the family has been trying to hide for years? The countdown began as soon as King Harris stepped behind those concrete barriers, and now it seems like every action taken has been leading up to this violent conclusion. It's evident that he wasn't attacked for simply being himself. Because of what he stands for, he was attacked. The Harris name, the controversies, the ostentatious way of living, the baggage from reality TV. He was portrayed as a lightning rod for hatred and jealousy. Off the record, correctional guards acknowledge that King and other prisoners don't simply enter the prison. They enter a storm. As soon as he stepped into that yard, he was a pawn in a war that was about power, pride, and reputation rather than about him personally. King was also the ideal target for rivals who wished to communicate with him, the other prisoners, and the outside world. Insiders highlight how quickly things got out of hand. The finest explanation came from a source who had been incarcerated in Georgia. The shark begins to circle when someone enters with headlines. They want to use him to score points, test him, or break him. King has to deal with that, taunting connected to his parents' legal issues, rumors of a botched drug deal, and derision of his affluent background. From day one, he was swimming with sharks. Additionally, it seemed more like a setup than a fight when the cameras inexplicably went dark during his ambush. At the right time, a trap sprung, leaving him unconscious, covered in blood, and in need of medical assistance. However, there were other weapons besides fists. The psychological effects could be far more lethal. According to prison insiders, King ignored repeated warnings to calm down, stop showing off, and quit acting like a famous mobster. To guys who had spent years learning the code of survival, his attempts to stand on his own 2 feet simply made him appear weaker. One former prisoner remarked, "Respect isn't bought, it's earned." And within those walls, that rule has always been inscribed in blood. King was bound to be handled, and handled harshly because he didn't follow those norms. The external fallout is causing the Harris empire to tremble like never before. Attorneys are putting in extra hours, attempting to rewrite events, promoting empathetic accounts, and providing benevolent media outlets with justifications. According to certain insiders, T is getting ready to reveal shocking details about prison corruption and threaten to bring the system to light if his son isn't shielded. Others claim that Tiny is subtly pleading with sympathizers to portray King as the victim of a vicious machine rather than a careless youngster who overplayed his hand. However, the family is unable to avoid one reality regardless of the approach they take. Every headline makes them appear weaker in front of the world. The fact that the other Harris children are being pulled into the tempest is even worse. Past scandals, tumultuous paternity issues, and old suspicions about family conflicts are all coming back. Speculation abounds on social media, drawing connections between the family's past struggles and its most recent crises. They are being torn apart by what should have been a private nightmare that has turned into a public circus, piece by piece. According to family friends, the emotional toll is worse than anything they have ever experienced, even bad than the viral Falcons game headlock, worse than litigation, and worse than TV cancellations. This is no longer about amusement. Legacy, survival, and the family name itself are all important. Zooming out, the King scenario is revealing the harsh reality that, when incarcerated, celebrity privilege is meaningless. Fame draws attention to you rather than protecting you. You can't always be protected by money. It portrays you as prey at times. Furthermore, a justice system based on brutal codes and unspoken rules is not bent by familial ties. The fact that King Harris was well known did not protect him. It was the exact tool that was used against him. He turned into the negotiating chip, the pawn, and the prize, and the message they wanted the world to see was his blood on the prison floor. And for that reason, this story is far more extensive than a single attack. King is not merely battling for his life in a hospital bed. It's about the following step. This ambush felt like just the beginning, according to every source. Will King be able to make it through the next setup that lurks in the shadows if he survives? Will T's powerful contacts provide him with a lifeline, or will they instead incite additional adversaries who view him as privileged and protected? Will Tiny's less forceful defense be effective, or will it simply make King appear weaker to guys who operate under a code of authority and power? Like storm clouds, these questions loom large over the Harris family, ready to explode. This is karma, according to some. Some claim it's a conspiracy. Some even whisper about its fate, the revelation of a family whose reputation, fortune, and drama have been its foundations. There is one reality that cannot be ignored, regardless of the facts. These days, King Harris is the face of a harsh reality check. Remind yourself that there are no Instagram filters, TV edits, or security personnel waiting to save you in prison. Survival of the fittest applies here, and there is a cost associated with every poor decision. We are now seeing, almost in slow motion, the most difficult test yet for the Harris dynasty. Their family isn't the only one affected by the attack on King. Is this the downfall of a legacy, or the start of a redemption arc no one saw coming? Is a question that fans, critics, and insiders are being forced to consider as it is upending the entire culture. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. Did King become a target because of his own actions, or was he a victim of circumstance? Is this ambush the prelude of something more sinister? Secrets that could permanently destroy the Harris empire are just waiting to be revealed. To ensure you don't miss the next installment of this crazy story, please leave your opinions below and remember to subscribe, share, like, and comment.